my name is Hiba, and today we're going to make some blueberry muffins as I try not to think about the state of the world as a visibly Muslim person, a Palestinian person, a queer person, someone who is married to someone who is black, non-binary, and trans. So yeah, pro tip, if you need softened butter and you just pulled your butter out of the fridge, just cut it up and put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. You'll be good. Next up, we're gonna make a flax egg. Fun fact, I used to be vegan for like maybe 2 years until I met my spouse and the chicken tenders pulled me back in. I currently don't have any eggs, so we're gonna make one. To make a flax egg, you just take 1 tablespoon of ground flax to 3 tablespoons of boiling water. As you can see, it's soupy, but it's gonna gelatinize. So I'd never made blueberry muffins before, but for some reason I thought people use dried blueberries to make them, so I got some, but then every recipe I looked up said to use fresh or frozen blueberries, so we're gonna have to rehydrate these with some boiling water. This recipe called for 1 cup and 1/4 sugar, which seemed like a lot when I was doing it, but I didn't listen to my gut and did it anyways and ended up with some really sweet muffins. So the reason why we don't want to fully melt our butter is because you want it to still have this structure so we can properly cream our sugar and butter together. Otherwise, you're just adding a liquid to the sugar and it's not going to congeal like you need it to. This one's less of a tip and more of a vote of confidence. If you're making a recipe and it's typically something that you put vanilla in, but the recipe's telling you not to do that or didn't include that part, just do it anyways. Next tip, if something calls for milk and you don't have it, just use water. You'll be fine. I use my blueberry water, or I have some dried creamer. I've put boiling water on the dried creamer and used that. It's kind of like dried milk. Really, the point of adding milk is for that like fat creaminess element, but it'll be fine with water. Now I'll just add my oopie goopy flax egg and mix that in. Let me know in the comments if you've ever made blueberry muffins before. What's your favorite kind of muffin? Coffee break time, and I suffer from hole in the mouth syndrome, so my sweatshirt had about as much coffee as I just did. And this is about the point in my blueberry muffin journey that I realized I had lost the recipe I was using. Cut the cameras. The show must go on. I know the blueberries gotta go in there, so let's just add them in. I decided to spice some things up and add some oats in there and then spoon in the flour. Typically I sift in my flour and I just weigh it out, but you know what? We're not doing that today. It's just not happening. For the part that we're not supposed to do, but we all do, which is sampling the raw dough. Fun fact, the most dangerous part about that isn't the raw egg, it's actually the raw flour, which I didn't know until recently. So meanwhile, I'm over here making vegan cookie dough thinking it's cool to eat. It's still dangerous. Next tip, if you need a little bit more counter space, just open your drawer and put your bowl in there. As long as your drawer isn't flimsy, it should be fine. As you can see, I made the fatal mistake of trying to use the measuring cup at first to scoop these out. I knew that was a mistake and not a good idea, and yet I did it anyways. Anywho, we're just gonna divvy this up and give everyone a little even portion. I was still left with about 2 muffins worth of dough, but I just set that aside. Like I said before, I don't really have much muffin making experience, so I wasn't sure how much these were gonna puff up, and I didn't want any overflow, and decided to put some oats on the top of these just to make it cute. I didn't have any coarse sugar, plus these were already way too sweet. That's them in the oven, and that's them all finished.